What up? It's Jimmy from odds.com. This is a clip from our big NCAA football bowl extravaganza, and we are running white hot right now. We break down the 8 games on January 1st and January 2nd, the 8 bowl games. To watch the entire show, hit the link at the bottom of the screen. It's available exclusively on odds.com. All right, we roll on here to the Outback Bowl, and this is a game I already bet. I already doubled up here on Indiana. Ole Miss is an absolute mess. And my book was still hanging the 8, so I jumped all over it. And it's still hanging an 8, although it's moved. Oh, no, did I get minus 115? I think I got minus 110. Moved to minus 115 on the 8. Ole Miss, Indiana. Indiana opening up as 7-point favorites. That's moved up to 9 in some books. And the indicator books have moved to 9. There are 8s. There are 8.5s. This total opened up at 69.5. It's dropped to 66, 65.5, or 65. All right, the Outback Bowl, Raymond James Stadium, Tampa, Florida. Ole Miss had their 3-game winning streak snapped in the regular season, ending 53-48 loss to LSU. Their offense was very strong all year, averaging 562.4 yards and 40.7 points per game. But their offense will be missing key parts. Ole Miss has opt-out issues, they have injury issues, and they have COVID issues. And it took a long time to figure everything out. First off, Elijah Moore, first-team All-American, leads the nation in both receptions per game at 10.8 and receiving yards per game at 149.1, opted out. He opted out actually before Ole Miss's last regular season game, so a lot of you already knew that. Kenny Yeboah, 4th ranked nationally among tight ends in receiving per game. He's opted out. So the one game they played without Moore and Yeboah was the regular season final against LSU, and it was an interesting game. They lost 53-48, and Matt Corral threw 3 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. 5 interceptions. Leading rusher, Jerry and Eli, 5-star recruit, first-team All-SEC, hasn't practiced since he got hurt in the LSU game. So I don't know. I mean, we're going to get more information leading up, but at this point, it's hard to expect him to be there. Their second leading receiver behind Moore, Braylon Sanders, also got hurt. So he's questionable. Now, Corral's very dangerous, completing 71.3% of his passes, 2,995 yards, 27 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. He threw for 925 yards, 10 TDs, 0 interceptions in back-to-back wins over Vandy and South Carolina. But their defense is dreadful. They allow 40.3 points per game, 535.7 yards per game. They registered just 14 sacks and 5 interceptions through 9 games. Indiana had a very strong season. Their lone loss coming by 7 points at Ohio State. Their offense put up 30.1 points per game. Despite picking up just 358.1 yards per game, they lost Michael Penix Jr., season ankle injury, second last game of the season. 6'4" sophomore Jack Tuttle came in, and he played pretty well. He played very conservatively. His lone start against a tough Wisconsin defense, he went 13-22 for 130 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. They won that game. He transferred from Utah. He was the highest-rated recruit in the school's history. Ty Freifogel is their deep threat, catching 34 passes for 687 yards, 7 touchdowns. Stevie Scott, the third, ran 137 times for 462 yards, 8 touchdowns. His average of 3.4 yards per rush is not good. Their defense is excellent. They allowed just 19.4 points, 361.7 yards. Linebacker Micah McFadden, 52 tackles, 5 sacks, 1 interception. Defensive backs Tywan Mullen and Jamar Johnson combined for 70 tackles, 4.5 sacks, and 7 interceptions in just 70 games. I doubled up on Indiana, and I plan on doing that here. We start with DJ Big Boss, and we're going to go around the horn. Outback Bowl, take it away.
I really enjoy watching Indiana play this year. Everybody should understand that Indiana is one of the king of the transfers, one of those teams that really capitalized on the transfers this year, and it worked out for them good. But Indiana did good in conference. You know, I don't think Indiana was prepared to go out of conference and play against opponent like Mississippi. Now, even though all that's happened and these players playing the COVID, whatever, I mean, it's still an SEC school that recruits quality athletes, to have a quality coach there. Like, people go there for good reasons at Ole Miss. So I can't take anything away from Ole Miss despite the circumstances. And 8 might be too many to lay with Indiana. But where I see the most value in this one, and I'm going to use the word value, is in the first half taking the over, because I think that with the difference with Indiana playing out of conference, Ole Miss offering something. Ole Miss can't play defense. They're not trying to play defense. They're like, you got to beat us to the punch. You know what I mean? So they're not going to play defense. They're going to come in the game to score. Indiana defense is good. It was good in the conference against teams that they played before that they understand, but to step out of conference and play a team like Ole Miss is going to take a lot more. Now, I don't know if this group right here, now it says that like 10 players on Indiana come from Tampa, Florida. So what I'm telling you off top with the transfer and all that is real. 10 of the players come from Tampa, Florida, so they should be excited to score. But I don't think that they have any strategies to totally shut down Mississippi, even though, you know, despite all the outcomes of what's going on at Mississippi, they still have a solid coach. They still have a program that's moving forward. I'm taking the over first half.
It's a very interesting take, boss. I enjoyed it very much. First half total. I'm going to line shop for him. Let's go to John Ryan. Take it away.
Well, I like the over in this game, and I think tagging along with DJ's themes here for this game, I think it does play over. And believe it or not, there's something that a little trend that works against Indiana. And I agree with you, Jimmy. I can't imagine Mississippi winning this game. But Indiana has won all their games. Won against the spread all their games. They've won 7. They're 7-0. So teams that are going into a bowl game that are favored, that are on a 7-game ATS streak, are just 3-9 against the number in that bowl game. So it kind of is a head scratcher. You'd have to have a lot of guts to go against Indiana. The last time this happened was in 2018 on January 1st. LSU was a -2-point favorite at Notre Dame and lost the games 21-17. Another big game was Penn State back in 2006 playing Florida State. Same situation. Penn State comes in on a 7-game ATS streak, and they squeak out a 26-23 win against Florida State. So it would be really tough to take Mississippi here because of everything you guys have outlined. But I like the over, and that's what I'm going to go with.
Are you a double up there, first half full game, or full game only?
This full game on the over.
Okay, full game on the over. Well, let's first have our man Big Boss make a decision here. Big Boss, you have some options. You have over 32 at -115, over 33 at -110.
Oh, anyway it go. Give me over 33. Anyway it go, it's got to be a touchdown after the 28.
Over 33 -110 at circa for DJ Big Boss. I'm gonna shop for the best full game total for John Ryan. Let's hear Big Ragoo's take on this spot here, and we are talking Outback Bowl.
Outback, right down the street, Tampa. And DJ says 10 guys from Tampa to be playing at home this weekend, right, DJ? Coming up. All right, so Indiana, it's the first time since like 68 that they've been ranked higher. Their highest ranking ever, number 7 by the AP. I think the college football playoffs had them like 11. So they just missed from playing New Year's Day. I think Iowa State kind of edged them out with the voting and all. But anyways, nice squad. I like Indiana. Had a nice season. But here's a shocking thing if you look at Ole Miss. Now, right away you think with Kiffin, the offensive whiz that he is, air out, yes. The opt-outs he had with the wide receiver position, the skill position players, most definitely. But did you know that they had the number 1 rushing offense in the SEC at 217 yards a game, and third in scoring 40 points a game. But they're going to be missing some pieces without a doubt. But I was thinking, just listening to you guys talk, and I started looking at some numbers here, that especially with the rushing, I think they're going to have a different approach with this Indiana squad. Now, Indiana on the defensive side, they have a pretty good defensive scheme against the rush. I think they're ranked like 33rd in the country, where on the other side, like you were saying, they're atrocious on defense. So right away, you're going to equate that to points being scored. But I think Kiffin is going to have to look elsewhere to kind of try to, not so much get in a shooting match, because he doesn't have to, because I don't think Indiana is going to put up points. I don't think they're going to be in a hurry-up mode to put up points. I think they're going to try to ground and pound too a little bit here. I don't think they're going to air it out. So I like the under. I'm leaning towards the under here, but I'm also leaning towards Mississippi plus the points. I think they've been in a lot of games. All their games they've lost, even though they've lost a bunch of games, they still come out on the plus side on a differential, which is mind-boggling. They've been in a lot of closer games, and I think this is going to be one of those type games too. And even though they have the talent loss, I'm going to use John Steele with the next up talent. I think Kiffin is going to do a good job in this game. I think it's not because Indiana hasn't been here before, because they haven't. It's going to be like a new situation for them. They've been licking their chops to get here for a while. I just think it's going to play out with Kiffin's. I think Kiffin's going to be the difference in this game to keep it close. Even though he might not have all the pieces in place, he'll have a scheme to kind of make this a game of it. I think Indiana probably wins by 3 points.
Wow.
I'm gonna take the under and Mississippi plus the points.
Fascinating breakdown. We got Big Boss first half over 33 at -110 at Circa. We got John Ryan full game over 65 at -110 at Circa. So
you had Mississippi on the money line, so I'm gonna pull out all stops to try to catch you.
Whoa!
I credit Big Ragu when he said that. I don't know how he worded it, but it made me shake my head like this, and I thought, yep, I'm feeling pretty good about this.
Wow.
Ohio State and Mississippi with the money line parlay.
John, we've got every game that I'm looking at, I'm basically going against an SEC team. I says the SEC is usually money in these bowl games, and I'm on the opposite side on like 80% of them. I says, you know what? They got to win some games sooner or later. They're not going to just blanket. You're not just going to have, Georgia bow out, or, even the mediocre teams like Auburn, and, you got Mississippi State. One of these, I bet half of those teams are going to win games as underdogs somewhere along the line. So I think this is a good spot.
I think the SEC this year may be a little overvalued because of what Alabama's doing.
Yeah.
And just because you're associated with the SEC means you're better than everybody else. So I think the market's got ahead of itself.
And you can get a great line here, Ragu, plus 9.5 at -112 at FanDuel.
Yeah, I'll take it.
And then you want full game under. I'm going to line shop for full game under. Big Boss, any last words here, hearing that they're backing Ole Miss? Any last words while I line shop?
No, I'm gonna stay right there on the first half, man. Not one of my favorite games on the card, but I do see a nice angle
Are
on
you
the over,
surprised that
but I'll just take it first half.
Bullish with John Ryan's on the money line now with
No, not at all. I was more surprised that you was on the other side, Jimmy, because I see that. I mean, if you look at Mississippi's record, Mississippi will go to the wire with a lot of teams. Like, they don't come. This kind of like reminds me of the Rams back in the day with Kurt Warner. Like, we don't come to play defense. We come to get in the end zone and get in your head. So with giving them more than a touchdown, that's a lot. So I was already on that side. But Kiffin knows his stuff, man. Kiffin's been around. Like, bowl games are about coaching. So if you don't believe in Kiffin, then I can understand why you're on the other side. But if you think this guy didn't come over here to Mississippi and make a couple good wins this year, even though he has some losses too, and is not ready to try to get his recruiting up and everything up by winning this bowl game, you got to be not watching NCAA football.